What's up, everyone? Welcome to Gaming Center by Complete Geek TV. And today, obviously, things are a little Victor.
A little bit.
Okay.
I want you to keep going. No, we're not editing this. It's
no,
a
we're gonna
little
keep
Victor
going.
today.
Okay. No, all right. Anyway, today things are a little different. Victor isn't feeling good, so he stayed home. But we're going to still at least talk a little bit about some stuff. So, Adam, why don't you get us started?
Well, we're going to talk about portables. Mm-hmm. Because, you know what? We're kind of a fan.
Oh, yeah.
We got a lot here. This is not all of ours. We just tried to grab some that were around the room here. You know, we got 3DS, we got the Vita.
Sadly,
we got the
one of my favorites is
Game Gear?
right here.
Game Gear, right?
No, the Vita. Oh, you do have a Vita right there. Gotcha. Okay.
The Game Boy Advance, the Analog Pocket. But the point is, there's some rumors that are supposedly pretty real? Question mark? But either way, I want Jordan to actually read the report so we can tell you what this is.
There's a bunch of articles you can find on this right now. This one's from Tom's Hardware. Says a new Sony PlayStation branded handheld gaming device is in development. According to an exclusive from Insider Gaming, Sony's purported portable device won't be a true successor to the PlayStation Portable or the Vita. However, as this 8-inch device will require a constant network connection to your PlayStation 5. In other words, it's less of a PSP Go and a PSP No. That's their wording.
G Cloud.
No, if you don't have a PS5. So it sounds like you have to have a PS5 and it has to be connected. It also sounds like it's not like the G Cloud. According to this, the code name is the Q Lite. And it is not a cloud gaming device like the Logitech G Cloud. Instead, its network connection exists solely for streaming the game library on your PS5. Again, this is speculation and this is rumors. Typically, we don't like to do speculation and rumors here, but we've done so many videos on handhelds and we love them so much, we wanted to talk about this. Yeah. So instead of going on a rant about this person on Reddit said this and this person on Twitter said this and, all this stuff, you know what? Maybe it's coming. Maybe it's not. But what we'd like to talk about is if it is real, what we want to see.
Yeah. So first off, let's just start off with this. So the fact that they're saying it's not G Cloud, that to me just means that there's no apps, there's no Android store, that it's literally kind of like a PlayStation hub. Like, so in other words, that's even worse.
It could be, it could be good or bad. Like, hopefully, because of that, it's stable and consistent.
Yeah.
If PlayStation does a streaming-only thing, I like it and I don't.
Yeah. 100%.
Because I want to be able to play games on the go without internet interference. But if it's as stable as this has been, then maybe it's going to be okay. Here's my one thing that I would like to see. And this is probably a big if, and I doubt it'll happen. But, Sony, if you're listening, do something like this. I want to see physical games still be able to be played on this handheld even when the disc is not in. And I understand there's some issues with that, people just renting games or borrowing them, putting them in and getting to play them. So I do think there will have to be some sort of system verifying that you still have the disc, like maybe every week or every 2 weeks that disc has to be put into the PlayStation in order to keep the license. So like, so it's like if you're going out of town and you're like, I've been right in the middle of Resident Evil 4. I want to keep playing it. You know that like I put the disc in my system, but I also might want to play Ratchet and Clank. So you put both Resident Evil 4, pull it out, put Ratchet and Clank in there. The PlayStation knows that now for the next week you can play that game, whether that disc is in there or not, as long as you're streaming it to that device. I think something like that should, in theory, work. I don't know if they'll implement something like that.
It's kind of like the whole Netflix thing, or
like you can download something
for a certain period of time.
Yeah, exactly.
It would be awesome if they did that. Probably not going to happen, of course, but it would be really cool if they did. I think we'd even be happy if you could just do one game that way, but hopefully they let you do multiple of your own library, especially if you own it digitally. Let's be honest.
Well, if you own it digitally, there shouldn't be an issue.
I agree, but there will be. Hopefully not.
Why would there be an issue with it digitally?
Meaning you should be able to download it like onto the console and. Oh, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, no.
Then they already verify you own it.
No, and that's what reports sound like. Again, no one knows if this thing is actually for real
Yeah,
or
it's
what
just for
it's
heating
going to
up.
be.
Yeah.
But according to all the articles we've read today, I read a bunch, and most of them said basically the same thing. It sounds like the rumors are that it's going to be mostly a streaming device, so you won't be able to download anything directly to it. And that's where I don't know if I like it that much because, just bringing the Logitech up again for a second.
Mm-hmm.
The screen is so much better.
Then what?
Than the Steam Deck.
Yeah, it is.
It is not. It's not even a close comparison.
Yeah.
The Logitech looks so good that I've gone to the extent of a lot of games I now just have my my PC somewhere close, and I just stream it to that because I don't want to play it on the Steam Deck because it looks so much better there. The only thing I use the Steam Deck for is when I'm on a plane, and I know that I can't use that. So, and that's the thing. If the PlayStation is internet-based only, streaming only, then that also kills that option of being able to play it on a plane. And in my opinion, that's one of the main features of a handheld is being able to play it anywhere.
And I just don't see them making it super cheap.
No.
Right? Because even if it is, listen, this thing. I still feel like this is a fair or a unfair comparison because let's be honest, they're selling these at kind of a loss because you're going to go to the Valve's, the Steam store and buy a bunch of games. So that's why this is kind of a hard price comparison. My point is we're using this as the example here because this is really what this is a streaming device. I know it's an Android tablet technically, but my point is if it can only do streaming on just for PlayStation only, no App Store. No anything. It's just very strange, especially because I can't see them doing it for $100 unless they're, we have all these mobile gaming controllers that we use, and and it's funny that this is I kind of semi believe this too because of how many third-party controllers don't work for PS Play. They're we'll just create our own thing.
Yeah.
Starting to make a little bit more sense now too. But,
that's a pretty good point. Yeah, because. Because we've been using a third-party app to make the G Cloud work, which we actually have a video on that and how to make that work if you want to check that out. But yeah, so I have a question actually.
Yeah.
Are you still interested, and do you think Sony should do this if it's going to be a streaming-only device?
That is a really tough question because most of the time, now we use this for Games Pass as well, of course. But most of the time I'm remote playing, I'm doing it for PlayStation, and so that would still cover that. But so if they came out and said this has a really sweet screen, the look and feel is kind of like the PlayStation controller, and from what we understand, it's supposed to have the haptic feedback and all that stuff still built in. 8-inch screen, which the bigger the screen, the usually more intrigued I am.
Yeah.
For me personally, I know people like pocketable things, which is understandable. But point is, I would still be intrigued. I don't think it's going to be cheap, though, asking for what I want in it, even though if it's just doing that, there shouldn't be any hardware involved.
Yeah, I mean...
Really, that should just be...
Should be, I mean, kind of like that.
Like if they put a good Wi-Fi card, yeah.
What if... Again, I'm not a tech developer. I don't create handhelds or video games. So I should. I should.
You should get into that.
No.
Just kidding.
So I don't know exactly what this would entail, but what if it could stream PS5 games and PS4 games, and maybe they opened a store to digitally download things like PlayStation 2 and lower that could be directly on the device?
Now we're talking. I mean, I would like that.
I would like that a lot.
That's the whole point, though. And once again, they could
at least
be
just give it enough power to do that.
Yeah, they could be adding all the. They could just be doing the whole PS Play thing to keep costs down, and that way you don't need to put a lot of hardware into there, like I said. But if they put a good Wi-Fi card to where it can pick up your PlayStation easily without hiccup, but they just somehow make memory in there to where you can just, if you could just download your digital games or go into the store and put it on there.
Yeah.
I just feel like that's the thing that would really help sell it, in my opinion. But
and
people still may not even be interested at that point.
It makes me think of that question that me and you ask each other almost all the time. I don't think we've ever even asked this question on camera before. but it's one of those things. It's like, you literally asked me this earlier today about a different device, but would you still have bought it if we didn't have a gaming channel? And I think that's fair, because you got to think about Sony. They need to make something that the masses are interested in. And to be fair, if Sony comes out with a new handheld device, we are getting it. I will be getting it day one because we have a gaming channel and we want to review it. And I also love handheld gaming. But if we didn't have this channel and it was streaming only, I don't know if I'd be rushing out to get it.
Well, if it had a great screen, kind of the look and or kind of the feel of a PlayStation 5 controller, haptics, everything, and it just did remote play.
I'd definitely be interested. I'm just saying.
So it's the price that would probably.
I'm just saying I don't think I would be as interested. Like, if they came out and said it was a Vita 2 that's going to have its own games, or at least be able to download, like I said, at least PlayStation 2 or lower, or PlayStation 3 and lower, or something, like some way to not physically, but have the games stored on it to where it doesn't require internet connection, I would be all about that. And I'm still really interested to see what they do. I've had such bad experiences with internet in my life because I grew up with the worst internet available, and so it's like I don't trust anything that relies on internet. I'm like, no, I want hardware that works, and if all power goes out, it still works.
So I kind of posed it. I'm just curious too if Jordan and I are the only one in his thought process, but we were talking about how my first thought is like, well, of course I wish it played games, like you can put games in there. But then, of course, if I'm being honest with myself, okay, I honestly, yes, sometimes you just have to be honest with yourself.
You have to be.
I have a backlog of about and this is not an exaggeration, guys, about 100 games, and I never thought I was going to be that person, but it's me now. I'm the one. I had a friend, Devon. Devon, if you're out there, let me shout you out. I remember you bought like 3 games. I said, have you played them yet? No, they're still sealed. I was like, what? Why would you still? And it's me. I'm that guy.
Now you're the
but
problem.
I'm way beyond Devon now.
Yeah.
But I wish I need to reach out. But my point is, so I almost don't need anything else to play with the 3 consoles.
You're saying
right
you
now.
don't need a new console that has specific games.
I really don't, because all this is it's going to stress me out towards more games that are on my backlog, where part of me kind of wishes I just had a portable that played my PS5 games, because the point for me now in my life, I'm trying to find more time to finish these games.
Yes.
So that allows me the extra time when I'm doing stuff.
And I do agree with that. I just know it would be very difficult for them to have a device that actually played PS5 games natively. Like, I mean, look at how chunky this thing is, and how
chunker.
And they're selling it at a loss, and it's somewhat expensive for. If you want the upgraded, the highest one, it's close to $600. So like, that's expensive for a hand. That's more than the actual PlayStation 5 is. So in order for them to do something that would play the games natively is not going to be cheap.
No.
And it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be small. And as much as I would personally love it, I just don't see it happening.
I don't either.
So I think when it comes to anything current, streaming is what's going to happen. And think about the Switch. We've all been dreaming of a more powerful Switch forever, and clearly the Switch is not as powerful as a PS5 by any means. It's not even as powerful as a PS4. And I just think, I don't know where I was going with that. I don't know. I think the Switch is one of the greatest devices ever, because the ability to play it on the go or at home on a TV is just genius. And I think it really messed up the industry, because
in a good way.
In a great way, because I think a lot of companies were like, well, crap. Now there's this thing that is selling a booty ton, and it is like, and it's crazy, because I still love all the games on the Switch, and like I've said on other videos before, I've bought games on the Switch that I knew would look better on PlayStation just because I wanted the portability of it. So if there was any way they could make it work, I think that would be awesome, because then they'd finally be able to compete with the Switch. Because right now the Switch is kind of in its own category.
Yeah, I was going to say, and I think this kind of is too.
Yeah.
Even though there's a lot of devices trying to compete with this.
It's close. It's the closest competitor to the Switch, in my opinion.
think about all the devices trying to, and I'm gonna tie this back into the PlayStation here for a second, but think about all the devices that are out there trying to compete with this now. The Steam Deck, where they're like $1,000 devices. That's just too hard to justify.
Yeah.
Even if you're like, well, I'm gonna get a slightly better screen. My point is what they're doing with this, and I want to point this out too. Their best-selling models, like their most expensive. So that tells you, at the same time,
people are willing to pay for the better version.
Yep.
It's just,
but
if costs can be kept down,
if there is someone that should make it, here's what I don't understand. To tie this back in, Games Pass, and you can even tie this in though to PlayStation. If they have their monthly games, why not be able to download those though to play? Like
you're saying, with
like
game,
if you have a subscription to their service,
you're talking about PlayStation or Xbox. Right?
I know I'm saying both.
Okay.
I'm saying either one of them could make something where you can download the games to play while it's available on the store.
Yeah.
And then it just goes away. It just goes off the console. Once
for like PlayStation Now or the Xbox Game Pass.
You'd have to feel like that's coming, but that would, to me, I know a lot of people don't do portable gaming. I mean, some do, of course we do, but I just think that's awesome.
And
if
this might even be a topic for another video that we can dive deep into. But Adam and I were talking just like a week ago, and I had told him.
We talk sometimes.
Yeah, we do. I had told him that it's interesting that both Xbox Cloud Gaming and PlayStation Remote Play have great features, and they're both missing what the other one has. Like if something could blend, obviously they're not going to join forces.
That's not what I heard.
But yeah,
okay.
No, like cloud gaming from Xbox, it's great. Anything that's on Game Pass, you can play it. And you know what? You could play an Xbox game without even having an Xbox.
Spoiler alert.
You could have Games Pass.
Yeah.
You could put it on your phone, get a Kishi or a Backbone or something, and play it just like that. And you could have a handheld, basically Xbox device, but you're limited to what is on Games Pass. That's the only things you can cloud stream.
Yep.
But no console has to be involved. PlayStation is the opposite. Yes, you can play what's on the PlayStation Now, but you have to stream it from your console. I do believe there's some game, like PS3 games, you can just stream, and some of the new ones with PlayStation Now. But the problem with that is it doesn't have, like, when it comes to like current gen games, like PlayStation 5 games, there's no real streaming option. It has to be streamed from, or I mean, I guess cloud option. It has to be streamed from the console. So that console always has to be a part of it. And that's where I feel like they fail. Like if Xbox could have that option of streaming from the console, or at least just letting you play any games you've digitally bought and downloaded, when PlayStation could also incorporate the cloud gaming aspect to where your console could be out of the equation. And if you want to go to Africa and play a game and you can't connect to your PlayStation at home, you still can play it.
Nice. Because I was actually getting ready to go to Africa in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
Perfect. If you guys could work on that,
if you
Sony,
already live in
Xbox,
Africa, then your PlayStation's already there.
Yeah,
so if you go to Australia, then you'd be able.
I just feel like that's the feature that would do it. So if PlayStation is implementing something like that with this new device, then I think that makes it extremely appealing. But either way, we'll probably get it because that's just what we do.
Yeah.
But
because we have a problem.
I don't think it's going to be popular. And I think here's where we're getting at. This is our disappointment. We don't think it'll be popular, and we think once again Sony's gonna be like, "See,
no one wants handheld games.
We need to get out of the handheld space." It's like, but if you did a new handheld like the Vita or PSP,
I think it would be big now.
And you know, not do proprietary crap.
And that's we've had lots of talks about. No, I know. We had a big long talk about that.
I just meant, you know.
I know. Because I still stand by the Vita being one of the greatest, like, gaming devices I've ever owned. I love it. And I know that I might be a little biased just because we were talking about this. My 5 favorite games of all time can be played on the Vita. So
yeah.
So it's like,
you know how many times you've used that port?
Never. It was. I don't even know what it was supposed to be for.
I forgot. No, it's never.
No, it was something that was, I think, planned, and it didn't even happen.
Was this supposed to be a display?
Or maybe
I don't even remember.
No, it might have been like like a, if you sent it in, maybe it was like diagnostics or something. I don't know.
Now I'm gonna have to look that up. I just think it's funny though too, because clearly there's some stuff that they were planning that didn't happen. But yeah, this kind of started it all for us because one, we loved the device, but two, we remote played with it. It didn't work great
for remote play.
No, it was choppy. And then you had to use.
It was one of the first times you could do something like that.
But we still thought it was cool. Anyways,
but yeah, no,
Sony, listen, I think there's people out there that want a handheld.
They want a Vita too.
Just because this fails,
basically.
doesn't mean that we don't want a handheld. I just don't think it's gonna succeed. But I would still probably get it? Question mark. Depending on the price. Anyways, dear Sony.
Yeah. So that's our thoughts. We hope you've enjoyed this video. Sorry that this one was probably the longest one-topic video I think we've ever done. So typically, we try to keep it under like 5 minutes for single topics, but we hope you've enjoyed it.
Put your thoughts, guys.
Yeah, tell us your thoughts. We want to know if you have any features you'd like to see, or if you think this is even just a stupid idea for them to do it. But let us know your thoughts. We'll be in the chat with you as well, commenting, and just let's chat it up. Yeah. Talk about some PlayStation handhelds or any of the handheld devices. And like, comment, subscribe, do that stuff. We'll see you on the next one.
Thanks, guys. Guys, thank you. What did you say about Victor at the beginning that was the greatest thing ever?